Hey guys, what's up? This is Luke from Think Boxley coming at you again today with another unboxing video. Now before we get into the unboxing itself, in case you haven't heard, this is my first time producing for thinkboxley.com, emphasis on that being just .com instead of .blogspot.com. ThinkBoxley 4 is finally here, and it brings with it a plethora of new features, most obviously a new theme and design language, but also a ton of other neat stuff as well. So please head on over to thinkboxley.com and check out what's new, but for now we'll get on with the unboxing. So as you can see, what we have here today is the Sony Xperia Z from T-Mobile. As of July 16th, you can pick up this guy for just $99 down with a 2-year contract, which is a pretty good price for a brand new release. Even though the phone has been around unlocked since February, it just made its way to T-Mobile earlier this week, so the point of entry is pretty nice considering. It's right on par with smartphones like the HTC One and Samsung Galaxy S4, and actually about $15 less than, say, an iPhone. Now, since this is an early release package, T-Mobile also included a nice little Bluetooth speaker from Sony. I believe this is regularly something like $60, but it was free with promotion, which is kind of nice. You can still get yours if you order quick, but it's just while supplies last, so you'll definitely want to get on that as soon as possible. It's got kind of a neat little orb design there. I'm going to be definitely interested to try it out. Of course, it's going to work quite nicely with the Xperia Z since it's produced by Sony as well. But we will just set that off to the side there. I just thought I would show that to you in case you are interested in getting this device. That all is not why you're here, of course, so let's get on to the phone. I'll just give you a quick look around the box. It's pretty minimalistic packaging. Actually, I kind of expected the box to be bigger based on what I've seen from review units. Sony has definitely revised the packaging from the review units that they gave for the unlocked version and made it a little bit more compact. So the Xperia Z prides itself on being totally waterproof and generally pretty rugged, sort of like a competitor to the Galaxy S4 Active. But there's a lot more here than just a little gimmick like that. Inside, the Xperia Z comes packing a quad-core Snapdragon S4 Pro CPU clocked at 1.5 GHz. It's got 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigabytes of built-in storage, which is expandable with micro SD as well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get in the box. Just a little information on inserting the micro SIM card. And here's the phone itself, as anticipated, wrapped in all sorts of plastic. We'll just leave it that way for a moment. It's still a little bit warm. It's definitely been sitting outside for just a little bit, so I hope the battery doesn't explode on me or anything like that. So we'll set that off to the side and let it cool down for just a little bit while we keep digging and see what else we get. So it is a kind of standard USB wall charger. The plug is actually on the top here, which is slightly abnormal, but definitely nothing to be very excited about. And we have, of course, the micro USB to regular USB cable, which you can use for data on a PC or also for charging with the wall plug. There's a micro SIM card. I'll deal with that in just a minute. And the obligatory start guide in another language, and important information in a bajillion languages, and other information that nobody really ever reads. So we will just set all that off to the side, and I believe that is it. Kind of interesting, there are a few things that are missing here actually from the unlocked version. The unlocked version actually came with a couple screen protectors, one for the front of the device and one for the back, and also a set of earbuds, which are probably about as obligatory and about as useful as the warranty information and all that. So I can't say I'm terribly sad to see those things gone. The screen protectors sure would have been nice to have included, but certainly it's understandable. That's not standard by any means. So for T-Mobile, you just get the bare basics, and that's really okay. That's all you need to get going. So yeah, no complaints here, just thought I'd mention that. So we will take back the phone here and get the plastic off of it. You can see here there's all kinds of notifications about where things are and what they do. Get the camera focused there. You can see here there is NFC on the back. Slide it out there. I guess we can go ahead and do a tour of the phone. So you can see the nice Xperia logo there in the middle. and all this design and stuff is on the plastic. That'll come right off, leaving it with pretty much just Xperia logo and T-Mobile and just a little bit of more information at the bottom. So it's a very minimalistic design. It looks pretty nice. You can see up top we have a 13 megapixel shooter with an LED flash. This will of course shoot HD video at 30 frames per second. And moving around to the front here, we have a 5-inch screen, which is 1080p, that's 1920 by 1080 pixels. And this is a TFT screen, it's not IPS or anything like that, but still should look very nice considering the resolution. This is probably the first and last time you'll ever see this without fingerprints. I think I can manage without the plastic telling me where everything is. So you can see up here, 2.2 megapixel camera for video chatting and Skype, which also is in HD, so everybody can see your every flaw on your face, which is just, I'm sure everybody is just looking forward to that, right? Skype chatting with somebody that can see how you forgot to shave this morning and whatnot. So of course there is the speaker and microphone up top and at the bottom there. Moving on to the side, this is where you're going to get most of the hardware button action. So down here you have your volume up and down switch. And something that's really interesting actually is this power button here, which is kind of something that Sony is trying to make a standard in their design, is very different from a lot of smartphone manufacturers and tablet manufacturers, which just kind of make it look exactly like the volume up and down buttons, which poses a little bit of a problem because it's very easy to accidentally hit power when you want to hit volume and vice versa. So Sony's solution to that is to have a very distinctive power button, which is very conveniently placed for your thumb if you are right-handed, or your index finger if you are left-handed, which is kind of neat. And it stands out really nicely. There's not going to be any mistaking the power unlock button for everything else on there. And somehow it doesn't feel like it really stands out on the device that much. Certainly it's noticeable, but it doesn't feel like it is out of place in any way, which is, I think, a really interesting feat for Sony's design team. So beneath all these little flaps are going to be different things, like here is your micro SIM card slot. The reason why these flaps are here is for the waterproofing of the device. So just as a side note, if you do intend to take this in the shower or the pool or whatever with you, be sure to have all of these ports sealed. Your phone will not be waterproof if you break one of the seals on here, or if it's just not in all the way. Water could leak in through the port and destroy the port and the rest of the phone along with it, so definitely be careful about that. Over on the top we have another one of those flaps like I was mentioning, and this one here is really nothing surprising here. It's just your headphone slot, and it looks like it's pretty much just your standard fare headphone slot. So we will keep on with the tour over to the left side. You can see here we have a couple different things. It looks like we have our micro SD card slot up there, and then right above it we have the plug for connecting to the wall plug for charging, or to a PC for data transfer. And on the bottom it looks like we really don't have much of anything. It's just sort of a little serial number, and also apparently maybe a connection for a lanyard or something. But it looks like that's pretty much it as far as a tour of the phone. Oh, by the way, the phone is made out of glass on the front and back panels, with the side covered in a sort of rubber material instead. So let's go ahead and power on the phone. Oh, I had the haptic feedback there, so I know it's working. There's battery in here, which is, by the way, not user removable. If you're looking for a phone where you could change the battery yourself, this is not the phone for you. However, I don't think that's going to be a huge problem for most people, considering how many smartphones these days do not have user removable batteries. So we've got a very nice little boot logo there. It looks tremendous on the 1080p screen. T-Mobile 4G LTE right there. And this really does, the screen is very, very sharp. Viewing angles are not too bad. I heard mixed reviews about these. Some people liked the viewing angles, some people really didn't. Honestly, I don't find them to be bad at all. You'd have a hard time reading text if it was tilted at an angle, but that's really not going to be necessary for most people. So let's go ahead and unlock this guy here, and I'll run through the setup real quick and get back to you when it is ready to roll. Okay, so now I've gone through the setup, and now we are greeted with Sony's take on Android. This is a fair amount closer to stock Android than a lot of manufacturer skins, but there's still quite a few things unique to the Sony experience. As you can see here, if I go into my running apps list for this button down here, at the bottom you'll see a few apps here. You can set these as favorites, I believe, but right now we have is what Sony is calling small apps. It's kind of their answer to Samsung's similar feature on, say, the Note 2, for instance. It'll be interesting to see how it stacks up against the competition in practical daily use over time. Just think things like calculator and browser here, I believe is what we have at the moment. So say I open up the calculator, and you can see this is a little window that runs on top of other apps in the background. So it's very nice for things like calculator. You don't necessarily want to have to exit out and find the app and open it up just to do a simple calculation. It's very nice that you can access it so easily. And there are other things there as well, of course, like the browser, as I mentioned. Oh, this is actually a timer here. Okay. There are other smart apps that you can add. You can get some from the Play Store, or you can even select from pre-installed apps as well. And as you can see here, there's no open apps at the moment. If I was to open them though, you'd find it looks very much like Android Jelly Bean on a stock Android device, like say the Google Nexus 7. Now this is running Jelly Bean, but at the moment I believe it is 4.1.2, not the latest update, which is 4.2.2. Okay, so there's a lot of little things about the home screen, about the apps that are installed, that really make this a Sony experience. If I go into the apps here, then you'll see a variety of different Sony apps as I scroll through here. First of all, at the bottom, you can see PlayStation Mobile, which is currently, I would say, in its infancy. We obviously know that Sony can make a great store. They've definitely done so with PlayStation 3, but it's just not here yet with PlayStation Mobile. There's still a lot of apps they need to add to it, and the games that are in it currently are not that awesome, but it's certainly promising for the future. And there are also different services like Music Unlimited, and towards the end we should have, there it is, our Walkman, which is basically just an MP3 player. I believe there's some included music here. I'm not going to listen to those right now, but you can see it's a very nice, very Sony-styled MP3 player. And there you can see the switcher, the app switcher that I was talking about. Just swipe that away. And of course the background here is very much like what we've seen from other Sony devices, like say the PlayStation 3. It's this very nice looking wave theme. If I long press on here, we can customize our home screen's widgets and apps and wallpapers and all that. And they also have included a few themes which I find interesting. Right now it's the Xperia theme. Let's see what else we've got in here. Let's try the Sapphire theme. It's a nice little transition there between themes. I'm definitely a blue kind of guy. I like blue on my devices, so I'd probably end up going with something like this anyway. This looks very nice to me. Very fluid UI, obviously, as you can see. The device is 1.5 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon S4. Really makes it zip. There's some other devices out there that are a little bit faster, but certainly nothing to be ashamed of with this Snapdragon S4. It's definitely a very, very capable phone, and it's certainly going to be able to keep up with the likes of the HTC One and Galaxy S4, even though it may not actually be able to beat them in the benchmarks. So let's get into something else that's kind of interesting. Oh, it's right down there, actually, the camera. It just takes a few seconds to load here. So now we're in the camera. Yeah, I'm just going to hit no on remember photo locations right now. Let's put something in there to look at. I'll just use the wall charger for now. So there you can see the wall charger in all of its HD glory. Now one thing that's going to be very interesting about this camera app is if you are familiar with any of Sony's CyberShot cameras, this interface is actually going to be very familiar to you. If I go up here and tap on the Superior Auto icon, you can see that aside from this enhanced automatic mode, we have a lot of things that are familiar to CyberShot owners. So it's very nice to see how Sony is bringing the CyberShot experience to their Android devices. So that's just a basic walkthrough. There's tons of other features that I could go through, of course, like stamina mode and other sorts of things that are part of the Sony experience, but I think you're starting to get the idea here, of course. As I said before, this is the Sony Xperia Z, and is available now on T-Mobile for $99 in black, and also a sort of T-Mobile purple variant if stronger colors are your thing. Sony's trying very hard to get in the high-end Android smartphone market, and this is a pretty terrific step in that direction. Again, this has been Luke from thinkboxly.com. Please check out the brand new site for more on the Sony Xperia Z and technology of all sorts. I'll see you there, and thanks for watching.